Marketing and sales are two different things. And as a digital marketing agency owner myself, I know this firsthand. I can help bring in as many leads, as many calls, but at the same time, I don't do the sales. And that's where your marketing team and your sales team have to work together. Because at the end of the day, again, marketing does not close the sales. It can assist, but your sales team is sometimes the bottleneck. And so I want to be very open and share with you 3 tips of the difference between marketing and sales, and then how you can increase your revenue for your company. I'm digital marketing coach Chris Heidlebaugh, and if you're new to me, I help home service companies stop guessing with their marketing and really start focusing on getting more leads, more calls, and more booked jobs. From providing you with a digital marketing audit to training you or your team how to do digital marketing in-house or handling your marketing for you, you can learn more how you can work with me at digitalmarketingcoach.com. So today I'm going to share with you 3 tips that I really want to help distinguish the difference between marketing and sales and how they kind of go together, okay? So the number one thing is, please remember that marketing is there to help generate leads. It does not close the sale, okay? So again, it can assist it. So in your marketing, if you have videos, which, if you have watched enough of my content, I'm very pro companies, business owners, leaders, taking the initiative to make educational content. Be the face of your company. Build that trust. Trust is a currency and it's very important. And you get that currency through accountability, through making videos, content that's yours that you own, okay? So it can assist, and I get that. But it is not closing the sale. Because at the end of the day, if I'm working with an HVAC company, and say I bring in 50 leads a month, okay? Well, if they only close 2 leads, then the bigger question is why? Why did that happen? Why did they not close those? Well, it's not the marketing, because the marketing brought the people to you, but it is the sales team did not close them. Now, granted, there are way better salespeople out there than me. I tell people I am not a salesperson. I win business through education because, again, education builds trust, and trust is a currency. And so for me, I'm just not that person. I'm not high pressure. I'm not, even in my industry that I work in, there's a lot of companies that you'll have a salesperson and they are brutal and they're aggressive, and they'll get a company to sign on a line, and then they're off to the next target, and the client gets sent to some project manager. That project manager worked with the creative person. That creative person works with somebody overseas, and it's just a disaster, right? For me, I like to be the one hand to shake and one neck to choke. One hand to shake, let's get a deal done, let's make this work. One neck to choke when something breaks, you know who you're talking to. It's not, the telephone game of 55 different people, right? That's just me. I know I ramble on. So with that being said, though, is I work with clients, for an example, again, back to the HVAC example, that the leads came in, but the leads are there. So you can't blame the agency for not getting you leads. If you say, well, Chris, we did not get qualified leads. Okay, well, what distinguishes, you have to identify what is a qualified lead, and we'll talk about those things. But the leads came to you, but your sales team did not sell them. And it's not about manipulation, things like that. It could simply be that you guys cost more than the budget of your consumer. I'm not saying that you should lower your prices. I'm not saying that you should diminish what you guys are worth and your value in the marketplace. What I'm saying, though, it is more of when, say if you're selling an HVAC unit for $8,000 and a competitor is selling a similar one or a different brand for $5,500, sometimes you can't help that, okay? I've worked with some very, very high-end kind of clients where one sale was worth $250,000. So imagine a $250,000 sale. I've worked with other companies that sell private jets. Now we're talking, millions, right? $3 to $7 million kind of planes, right? That is a high ticket person, okay? There's other people where maybe they're selling something very simple. Maybe it's, and I'm not saying try to say something simple. Maybe something a little bit more lower cost. Maybe it's haircuts, right? Maybe you're a barber and you're like, hey, it's $50 for a haircut. Those are a little bit different, right? So again, the leads can come in, but it's not about every lead is being lost because it's not qualified. It's just maybe because it's just not a good fit for the buyer and your company. So please keep that in mind. So if you're looking at the stats and the agency's telling you, hey, look, yeah, like call recording, this, that, and the other, we see that you had 50 leads this month, but you only sold 2. Check with the sales team, right? I have been in offices and I've listened to sales calls. And I can listen to 5 different people and they all answer the phone differently. And sometimes that's the first impression. Hello? Yeah, what can I help you with today? Hey, thank you for calling Chris's HVAC. This is Chris. Hey, how can I help you today? How can we help you with your air conditioning needs, right? Way different. And I've seen this a lot. I'm not saying you got to be fake and things like that, but at least like have employees that like their job and sometimes a lot of companies are using, especially home services, are using call centers so that they can do Google LSA stuff and different things. And I'm going down a rabbit trail, right? But again, do test yourself. Call your business yourself sometimes and see like, hey, like, would I want to work with this company based on how they answer the phone? So the number 2 thing is a lot of times, and I'm kind of going off of the number 1 a little bit because I kind of went into number 2, is having a bad sales team basically is not the same as having bad marketing. You can have amazing marketing. And at the same time though, if the person cannot sell or if you have bad salespeople, and I don't want to say necessarily bad salespeople, but untrained salespeople that are not familiar with their company. Here's a test that I do when I'm working with a company. I will ask their team, maybe we're on a Zoom call or whatever like that, and I'll ask them, which is kind of harder on a Zoom call, but when I'm in person too, I'll have them text me or whatever, and I'll say, tell me what your company does, okay? And then I'll say, give me the 3 products that your company sells or your 3 services your company provides. And then tell me 3 ways that you guys are different. And I almost guarantee you, every single time, everybody says something different, okay? So if your salesperson thinks that you sell X, another salesperson thinks you sell Y. Another salesperson thinks that your unique selling point is you're the low-cost leader. Somebody else might say that you come with a warranty. Somebody else might say this, that, and the other. And so again, it's like, depending on which salesperson you get a different sales experience. And I'm not saying this has to be scripts and you're reading like, thank you for calling Chris's Cellular. Would you like to hear about our specials? Like, dude, it doesn't have to be scripts, right? But again, the sales team, a lot of times, they're all saying something different. And sometimes that's their unique selling point. That's no problem, that your salesperson can say something different. You know, because every client's going to be different. Every client's needs going to be different. Yet, there should be some sort of baseline of you're saying, hey, look, we are known for selling high quality air conditioning units at wholesale pricing. We have a 1-year warranty for parts and labor, and it comes with a 10-year warranty on the unit or whatever it is, okay? What's some of our unique selling points? We are local. We have been doing this for 40 years. We have some of the best reviews, X, Y, and Z, okay? So again, test your sales team. If your sales team are all over the place, you can kind of tell a difference that sometimes it's the sales team, not the marketing. And the third thing I want to tell you is really bring your marketing and your sales team together, okay? They should be like almost like intertwined together. It's very, very important. And why do I say that? It's because as a marketing person, if I'm putting out content, if I say, hey, look, this month, say you're a dentist and you're like, hey, this month we're doing teeth whitening for $99, okay? Well, your sales team should know that there's a promotion going on, so it's $99. So when the client calls in, they're like, hey, I saw your ad on Facebook. I'd like to get hooked up with your $99 special. Can you tell me more? And your salesperson's like, I have no idea what you're talking about, right? Those things kind of suck. Nobody wants to have egg on their face and be like, I don't know what's going on, right? So please keep those things in mind, is that a lot of times they have to work together. Another thing is your marketing company can help create the content that your sales team can use, okay? As I mentioned, a great person out there, you know, Marcus Sheridan and Impact and some of those companies, they do a thing called assignment selling. So it'll be one of those things where as a home service company, maybe you're an electrician and you're like, hey, we're going to install a new electrical panel, replacement panel, control box, whatever you want to call it, at your residence on Friday at 2 o'clock. Okay, we're going to give you a quote. We're going to look at your current wiring. We're going to do whatever, no problem at all. Dear Mr. or Mrs. Jones or whatever, in this text message or in this email, here's 2 videos that we want to show you so that you can learn a little bit more about our process before we get there. And that video could be questions that you've had. If you've had the same question like 3 times, like you should have a video about it, okay? So the video will be like, hey, you are looking at upgrading your control panel. How does the process work? And that video could talk about, well, we do this, we have to turn off your power, because again, what if you work from home? What if you work from home and next thing you know, now you're not gonna have power for 3 days? Like that's not gonna work, right? So you might say, typically a common question we get is, we do, is my power gonna be off? And we have to for our safety reasons, but we try to limit this as best we can. So we make sure we have all the parts first. That's why we come out to your house 2 times. We want to come out, give you a quote, look at what you have going on, look at the requirements that we're going to need, and then we come out and we do the job. Typically, we see that an exchange is less than 3 hours, and that way you should know that you will be out of power for 3 hours. So we want to make sure that you have the ability to put freezer things in the right spot, put cold things. If you have a person like my wife, for an example, is on oxygen. So it might be something like, hey, just make sure that this or that. There's a lot of things you may never even think about, but it gives you the opportunity to send those videos, right? You can send those videos, and now when you show up to the job, you are so much better prepared. So if the marketing team can help you put together some of these videos based on what the sales team says, that's why they go together. Sales team says, hey, we get the same question all the time. Can we do something about making a video? The marketing team says, yes, let's make a video. They work with the right people. They make the video. They give it back to the sales team. Guess who sells more? The sales team, right? So that's the thing, is they can work together, but we can't blame the marketing team for the sales, and that's what I really want to point out, okay? I'm digital marketing coach Chris Heidlebaugh. If you need help with your digital marketing, I'll see you at Digital Marketing Coach.